Buenas tardes a todos. Pues para los que no me conocen, me llamo Jefferson Abraham y en este video pues les quiero hablar sobre la última versión más o menos de Prisma PHP. Pero este video es medio especial también porque me pidieron bastante que si había la posibilidad de hacerlo en inglés. Entonces, más o menos hay algunas cosas que tal vez lo explique en español, pero pues la mayoría va a ser en inglés. Voy a hacer el esfuerzo para intentar lo más que pueda de inglés. Así que vamos a hacer, para las personas que pues vayan conectándose, pues les doy la bienvenida. Pues y vamos. Entonces, welcome to everyone. This video is about Prisma PHP, getting started. I'm gonna introduce you to the documents, and after we're going to create our first CRUD, and then we want to see if we deploy to cPanel the project. But for now, this is kind of special video going to be, because many people who I was making the stream told me to if I could translate the language or make the stream to English language. So the thing is, I'm going to try my best to speak in English. I got a little learn to not be improving my English speaking, you know. So let's start, and I'm gonna show you what we will be doing, everything. I'm gonna try to be detailed as possible. So from starting, we're going to build a kind of CRUD application, but only with PHP, no JavaScript. And afterward, if we could make the deployment. So before I start introduce, this is a Prisma complete CRUD creation. So for start, I could start deleting all this here, this here. Okay, first I'm gonna create a user because it's all about CRUD. So here I'm gonna create John Doe. So the role, I'm gonna put it to admin, submit. I have my create ready. So now what I want to do is view the profile. We could say this is like kind of profile, no? So I'm going back, try to edit and say John Doe 2, and then role going to be user, date, and role user John Doe 2. Afterward, delete was already prepared, so delete. Okay, now we're going to try to add random users. Okay. Can I add John Doe again? Okay. So I'm gonna add another one. Mario, user, Mario. Okay. Now what I want to do is try to search Mario or John Doe. But for that, I'm gonna add one more. So it's going to be Jeff. Okay, so we're going to try search Mario, and the search is working already. So we're going to try to search John now. We got John, and try to search Jeff. We got Jeff. But if we just pass J, we got both Jeff and John Doe. The good part of when the search is contain a specific pattern to search, like name, and this return all the name what is get with the request. Okay, so to continue with this and create to let you create your first CRUD, so we're going to try to get into the documents, and afterward we're going to see what we get through. So to start, we could go straight to npms. In this case, if you saw, I just put npms. So here you're going to search create Prisma PHP, and the first one is the one you have to select, and afterward, as you can see, this create Prisma PHP already have been downloaded more than 4,000, which I imagine is a useful package for you creating your web application. So the main documents here just streamline the interactive and introduce you some parts of it. So you have to go to the home page, in this case Prisma PHP, but even you could go to Google, let's say Google, and then Prisma PHP. So here you have it, and this will go to the same place. So what I'm going to do is to start building the all what is needed for the package. So what I want to do the first is here in this case is a welcome to Prisma PHP. You have to give your little check, and then I go to documents. Let me close this one and getting started. Here is where you're going to start reading and try to have already prepared. So the first, the introduction, and then the prerequisites. You have to ensure that the system is equipped with Node.js. Well, I think I would have put the 20x version from 20 from up, because I'm working with the 20. So you just go download the latest, which is the version 2011. It's going to work everything good. So you have to have already prepared that. Some download for your operating system, and then the composer. So when you have already prepared your environment and installed the prerequisite, well, you have already to start with the resources, documentation, so on and so on. So if you want to know more about Prisma, because Prisma is a TypeScript ORM, which I'm using the model to transpile to PHP. So everything it's laid on Prisma, and it's all about the model what is going to be in Prisma. It's going to be transpiled to PHP. Currently I'm working, as you can see, the create has been updated and create many, so on, so on, so on. So this review means I'm not updated yet. So maybe as go on, I'm going to be updating until reach to a stable version. So currently this version is can be used to test and try to get more with, so you could test everything you want with this package. So alright, Prisma documentation, read Prisma documentation and you're going to get more information about. Remember, Prisma PHP is all about Prisma programming language. So what I'm going to do is no Prisma, no PHP, that's all. As you know, Prisma more oriented objective, so that you won't feel you are at home. Okay, Tailwind CSS is optional, because as we go on installation, we're going to see that it's optional. You could choose to work with CSS, or you could choose to work with Tailwind CSS. So I just let the documentation there. Alright, so the first, open terminal and run the command. So this is the command which is going to create all the environment needed for your Prisma PHP. So what I want to do is copy this. I have already my VS Code editor open. So what I'm going to do is pass direct what I have copied to VS Code terminal. So as you can see here, I have already worked some folders, but we're going to focus on this one. So here I'm click yes, I'm going to start working. Here maybe in yours going to ask you to update the package if not have been updated. So in my case, I already have updated. So it's asking me about the project name. So what I want to do is getting started 2, because it's the 2 version, because I already have a folder name getting started. So it's going to have a conflict. So here, Tailwind CSS, yes, I'm going to work with Tailwind CSS. WebSockets, no for now. So this is going to start installing all the package is needed for create a Prisma PHP environment. So what we're going to do is wait the installation, and while I'm going to be explaining some things about Prisma PHP. So Prisma PHP is inspired to transport all required from Prisma ORM. So what Prisma PHP doing is getting the Prisma ORM model and transpiling into PHP classes, so you can have access and modify and inherit, and all those stuff is needed. So now what I'm going to do is clear my screen, and then what I'm going to do is get access to it, clear screen, and so I'm going to open in a new okay. Okay, what I do is just go and open the folder which I'm going to start working. That was the I never could open. Okay, let's start. What I'm going to do is zoom out a little. Okay, the first thing first, when you already install your environment, so the next step is already here. So the next step is, well, we already passed this, is Composer install. So I copy it, go to my terminal, in my folder, so I just Composer install. Okay, now we have already installed Composer dependencies. Here, as you can see, Composer, all required. So, I'm gonna clear the screen. This is the second step. So, the third step is to set your PHP root path. So the importance here, you have to already have installed SAM or your PHP environment. In this case would be Apache. I'm using SAM, so that's the main idea with SAM. So you have to go your SAM location here. So you go SAM and then PHP. This is the root of your PHP location. So afterward, you get in that information, you come to settings and then project settings, and then you put, like, say, a PHP root path here. So you can see PHP exe application is which going to be set here. In this case, this is my location by default, so will not replace with any location. So this is the third requirements. Now the last one is npm run dev. So what we're going to do is copy it and then we come, let me close this and paste it and run. Okay, as you can see here, we are already running an empty and welcome page. At this level, you have already set your Prisma PHP environment prepared and ready to work with. So when you reach here, you could start, like, say, start working with PHP and with Prisma ORM. So what we're going to do is start prepare our database settings. So for database settings is very easy. Here you come Prisma, and then in schema you're going to set with which of the database going to work. In this case is Postgres, but if you're going to work with MySQL, you're going to put MySQL here. So in this case I put in MySQL because I'm going to work with MySQL. So when you're going to work with MySQL, there is two ways to handle it. If you're going to work locally, well, you don't need to set a shadow database. But if you're going to work online, you have to set a shadow database. while we advance, I'm gonna show you which of the requirements. This is my model, my user model, my user role model. So you're going to create your own model. This is just a template for to start with. In this case, if you want to get more deep detail about Prisma models, so you go to Prisma documentation, getting started, and then you create your model. Everything start from CRUD, relational database, connection to your database, all those is already in Prisma documentation. So anything about Prisma Prisma schema, you have to go to Prisma documentation and start working on it. But the setup is very easy, to be sincere. It's very easy. So let me explain a little bit about it. So this is the model name, and your table name going to be same as your model. So this is my table name in my database, which is going to be user, and all this is user fields, which is going to be user ID, username, user email, so on, so on, so on. All right, let's talk about this. This is a relationship. The relationship has an ID which is going to connect with user role in this case, and then the user role is going to be interacting straight with user role, setting up the role which is belong the users. So this is how you create relation between one model to another with another model. I could come, like say undelete, set null, or cascade, and update cascade is mainly by default. So if I want, I could set it, else I'm gonna leave it rest. Okay, I'm save it. Now for my database connection, I'm going to come in that end file which have already prepared database URL. So here is a Postgres, but what I'm going to do is change with MySQL, and then I'm going to set for now with my local database. So I'm going to set with root, and what I'm going to do is set my super encrypted password, the default from start. So 3306, and well, my database name is CRUD test. That's it. So what I'm gonna do, save it, and I'm gonna close it. Then I'm open terminal. Now what I'm going to execute is a command. But before executing, I want to let you know where it's located. So the project structure is important. Maybe you could give a little view, because it's important you understand how it's already prepared everything and folders, how it's structured. So already the router we're going to review because it's needed. Edit setup, editor setup. So this is the editor setup which is required for you to have IntelliSense, error detecting, all those stuff, starting with Prisma. So when you want to work with VS Code especially, you want to install Prisma for VS Code extension. So here you already have, and you just install, or you go to your VS Code. If you using VS Code, just search for Prisma, and I already have installed. So for PHP IntelliSense, well, you have this PHP IntelliSense same as Prisma extension. PHP IntelliSense. There you have it. Okay. So PHP debug as you wish. Tailwind, CSS, IntelliSense. Well, if you want to start working with Tailwind, I recommend you use Tailwind CSS IntelliSense in your extension because it's a powerful tool. Tail with CSS. Okay, you want to search the official one, Here, this is the one which you want to locate and start. Okay, now what I want to do is, you already have, and we already set up MySQL for database. Already, here is the documentation, all what you need. So if you want to work with Postgres, Postgres is more easy than MySQL because Postgres is the default for Prisma ORM, not for Prisma PHP. It's the default from Prisma ORM, which is the model comes already integrated examples with Prisma with Postgres example. So what we're going to need now is Prisma commands. So Prisma commands is the one which is going to interact with your database, direct from your environment to your database. So what you need is the first command is npx prisma migrate, which is going to migrate all the models from user role to your database. So what I'm going to do is copy this, paste, and execute it. So what we're trying to do is have prepared our environment. So I say yes and then enter again. So I have already created my my database because I already have provided my database connection. I'm working local, so my database have the table of user and user role. So let me show. I'm gonna show with Workbench for now. Afterward, we're going to see the next one. So here we have users and user roles. So as you can see in user, I have mapped the table name with users. So in this case, as you can see, the user role I haven't mapped. So what means this? The user role is going to be the table name. So when I come, as you can see, is singular. User role, specific one. So that is the overview from Prisma model. So that is the one which is going to be inject in your database. Okay. So what we want to do is, now we have already prepared our Prisma PHP environment connected with our database. Well, so here everything is going to start. Afterward, you have your environment, so you're going to be locate to your src, lib, and Prisma and classes. As you can see, only two classes is available for now, is utility and validation. And now we have to create the classes which are already in Prisma PHP scheme. So what I'm going to do is come to the documentation. Now Prisma already migrate the database. You can see the overview of all this because this is important when you're going to work with your database. So PHP command here, nps php generate class. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to copy this command and paste it, press enter. As you can see, this command generate a specific class which is related to the model. So I got user and user role. As you can see, we have user and user role. So we already have create our first classes in the lib folder. So Maybe if you wish, you can check the project settings and then you could get to know where is generating the PHP class. I highly recommend not to change it, but if you wish, well, there is the option, but it's not so good for it. But anyway, I have to mention it. So the next thing what you're going to notice is Prisma PHP JSON. This is the JSON which Prisma PHP environment use. So as introduction is very easy. It's a command JSON which I'm going to use. So project name, getting started 2. If you're using Tailwind, it's going to be check it with true and else false. The version of the environment and the excluded file. So let's say you work with Prisma schema, but when you want to update the environment, you don't want to change the schema, because what Prisma update command we want to see going to do is to update the all default files from the Prisma PHP package. Okay, so already explained, and now we're going to get in to create our first row. So in here, let's go to app routers. So this is the overview of all, but I'm gonna go straight because it's a resume video. Let's get into it. So what I'm going to do is open this inside. Okay. To create our pages, I'm gonna come straight to app, and then you're going to create a folder and then index file inside the folder. So what I'm going to do is new file. I'm going to create users, then index.php. So as you can see, in my index file, I'm gonna put all what I needed for PHP. So forget to locate to your users. You're going to use users location, and then you get, but if let's say you already you don't have a dashboard, so it's going to give you for not found. So that is the important. If your route is already exists in app router, it's going to display, else no, it's going to be 404. Important is the part of where you want to identify and how you want to create your routers. So in this case, I'm create a folder called users, which it's going to be my router. So users, it means here I'm going to put my router as users, and it's going to come and get the index file and display to the screen, to the page. So now what I'm going to do is just PHP, and here I'm going to user index page, just that, and then save. As you can see, I have already displayed my index page in this section in users location. So I already have created my page. So what we want to do is try to start using Prisma classes now. So in this case, to get all users from your database, well, it's very important that you have to know that it's very easy. So what we're going to do is just say, let me get some space. So use lib, and then you can search for classes, then Prisma. Okay, now what I'm going to do is like say Prisma, new Prisma, because we're going to get the new instance of the Prisma class. So afterward, we're going to get users from the users table and the database. So I'm going to say users and going to be equals to users find many, but is not users, is user. This Prisma is going to create a relation or direct relation with your schema file. So it means if you have users here in the model, going to be users in your Prisma. So you have to notice the difference between the map and the model. When you're working in the Prisma environment, you have to focus on the model, not on the database table name. Database table name is specific for Prisma model, but the model by itself is specific for Prisma PHP classes. So here what I'm going to do is I already have users, so what I'm going to do is echo pre so let's see, it's empty array because we have created a user yet. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to create a user and display it. Easy as that. So I'm going to say Prisma, then user. What I want is create and I'm going to add password too. Okay, so this is the way to create users in Prisma. This is all what you need, an array. I can have this as data equal to that. Then you have to have the identifier of data, because if not, it's going to complain. And then you can come and pass data. CM effect is going to have. So what I'm going to do is come on, copy, cut, paste, delete, save. As you can see, as I save, I have already created my first user. So this is the section of importance where you want to create your first user, and then no, let's say I'm not going to select a specific fields from the user. So there is two ways to select it. One is include and the other one is select, but there is a difference between select and include. So we're going to explore just a bit of it. So starting include. Let's say we're going to include the user role. User role. So this user role comes from the Prisma schema here. User role, and you have to write as is. If I come and set this to uppercase and then try to include, it's a user role does not exist in user model. So that means you have to write the CM as you got your connection in your user model. So I'm gonna copy user role, paste, save, Okay, I'm trying to create another one. Okay, so I'm going to put here, this is going to be Maria, just for, okay, I'm going to create the user role, okay. You all have name, and this is going to be create, or it's going to be connect or create. Connect or create. So let's save. No. Okay, so when you want to connect or create, it's already advising me how I can do. So where this is going to be, where name admin and create admin, no description, and let me put this uppercase. So here Maria have already created, so Maria do. Okay. Okay, here's the thing. We have already created 3 users, so I'm gonna comment this section. And as you can see, here I'm selecting all created users. So what about if I want to include just a specific or include a user role. As you can see, here is no user role, so what I want to do is try to include user role. Okay, because I've been create no user role, so we don't have any user role, so we're going to create a user role. So now Prisma user role, create. Okay. Okay. What happening is the user role, which already filtering, is don't have a role created. So that is the main reason which is complaining. But we're going to advance and see what we can do about it. So I'm going to create an or connect with the user. So what I'm going to do is, now I have already created the user and all those. So what I'm going to do now is try to delete. So it's going to be like Prisma user delete. It's very easy. ID, and I'm going to copy the first ID, this one, paste it, and then let's delete. So there is the main idea. So what I'm going to do is start to build all what is needed for your CRUD creation. So you have already experienced the CRUD creation from now. So what I'm going to do is start, copy and paste, and start explaining what is all about. No? So first, I'm going to copy and paste and now what I'm going to do is get users from the users table to start building. Users here. Find menu. So here is the option. You could pass empty array, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to get objects, object. Okay, so what I'm going to start doing is try to include user role. Okay, let's see our users table. Here we got users. Our users, so user role, include user role. Okay, everything's good. Okay, what I'm going trying to do is I'm going to explain everything, but let me install a package, and this is going to be a package which you can get to it. Okay, Daisy UI, I'm working with Tailwind, so what I'm going to do is go to components, because I'm gonna install Daisy UI to build my tables, and then you could go to Tailwind CSS and all those stuff. So what I'm going to do is go to documents, install There's UI, and this is the first, maybe when you're going to start building your app, you have to start with your packages. So what maybe to cover all this, I'm going to copy this because what I am trying to do is advance as possible. So here I'm going to paste it and install, and then what I'm going to do is, after installing, as you can see, what the documentation says I have to paste this in tailoring config. So what about this is this. As you can see, this have a kind of table but not. So I'm going to come to tailoring config, and then I'm going to paste it, and then npm run dev. So now I'm going to come and refresh. I already have my table set up. So what I want to do is copy another line of code and paste it, because this is so easy. So I'm working with icons from icons. As you can see, here is no icon. So what I'm going to do is come and get into layouts, and then come and paste. After pasting, as you can see, I already have my icons prepared. So I'm gonna close this and that. Okay, so let's start working on this one, because I want to explain everything, and afterward you must understand some stuff, but you can do, I'm gonna try to leave this as a repo so you can download it and analyze all the code what is needed. So what I want to do is, this is the main table which I'm working with. Okay, as you can see, this already have a built-in variables and all those stuff there. So let's come down. First, this is the table which is going to be loading all users, as you can see, because HTML is the basics here. So first, users, but I'm getting users from a search term. So if the search term doesn't exist, you're going to use this one. If exists, you're going to use this one. So that means to say I already have built in my search. So I'm going to search, because no, you can let create another one. Admin create let's search for F, and here you already have a search built in. So what means this? When the search term is set by get, as you can see, because when we press Maria here in your get, you set Maria over here. So that's the idea about the search. So you have to manage PHP. That's all is required in this PHP Prisma PHP environment. So all what is needed is just the PHP language. So as you have more knowledge to PHP, you could handle it more smoothly. Right. Search term, if it's set, we search or filter the user into the database. If it's not, we filter and return everything, and we could pass order by or other stuff is needed. No? Okay, next. Remember, this package is going to be updating as grow. So maybe today and after today, maybe it could be because I'm detecting some errors which is not might be happening. So I want to say what is happening, all those stuff then, so it might be changed over the time. Okay, next thing. So when I press here, let's say I'm going to add new one. When I press, as you can see, it opened a model. So how I implement that? When you press the anchor to the gate, you just say show new model to true. And so I already have this model set up. New model here, up here, set new model. So what happened is when this model is set to true, and remember it's string true, string type, it's going to be open, else it's empty. So that is just the requirement, no? So what I'm going to do, when you press here, it's closed. When you press, it's open. So here you could come and type the name you want, assign a role, and submit, and you create, here it is, Mario. You create the user. So everything happens when you click, and that click comes up here when you say show model. So this is going to happen or fired when you click to the add new button. And then this is the search. When you search for user, this form is which is sending information to the backend and will working with PHP. The another one is edit. So let's edit Maria. Let's click Maria, and then Maria, let's say okay, save Maria, name change. This is the button which fires to the, so as you can see, when I press edit button, it set show edit model to true, and then the ID, set the ID, and will I just display the ID here. So that means to say this model, it set the ID to, and then you could come down, search, and then you edit the model. You have here, and says if show model, well true, then open, else not. But as you can see here, you can notice these have a little difference between the new model and the edit model. Here say if the role of the user info, because you set in a user info when you find, when you come down, as you see user info. So user info is type object, as you can see type object, and you assign user info. I imagine if we are working with type, so I could have a check like say type user, so one type user, and then you have already the type user. Okay, so the next thing what you're going to do is the delete button. So here you can delete anyone if you wish, but we're going to delete, and then we're going to start explaining what is behind the scene in delete. So when you delete, or when you press the delete button, you say, are you sure you want to delete user and the name? But if you see to the top, it says delete model true, and then the ID. You set the ID, and then if you want to delete, then you click delete, and the users will be deleted. So the responsible of that is this button here. This button will fire when you click to the delete button, and it say here you just set to true and pass the ID, and then this goes straight to the delete model, and this works same as the other. So this is just going to be show delete model, so this is going to delete the model, and if the delete model is true, then remember it's type string true, and it's going to open, else not. So when you press or send the submit to delete, this comes, okay, here it said if delete ID is set, well, delete the user. That means to say you're going to get with post, and this we are talking about security, because remember, when you send in information through post is more secure than the get. The get is just to identifier in the front end, is mainly used. So you just get the information from the delete ID from the post, because as you see, we validating if the method which the form is sending is delete, no, is post. Well, we get here, and then we said, okay, here all the identifier is which is going to come in. So here is it, updated ID is set, well, yes, okay, then update the user. If the user updated ID is not set, well, you don't going to get in this section. So what I'm going to do is ask the next request is set, is create set or not empty, which is going to say yes, then you're going to get into here. As you can see, is simple as that. Easy. You set up your CRUD in only one section. You don't need to have in any other section. But you're going to see in little while from here, we has finished explaining. You're going to create a profile section, which you're going to filter the user from getting the profile. So here is important. When you finish adding the user to the database, you're going to send the header or the location where you want to send after finishing the task. So I said header location, I want set the location to users. So this is important, remember, because when you send in the post request is going to load the page, and after refreshing, you have to know where to send the information. So I decide send it by yourself. So user and then user. So when I delete or when I update, when I create, stay in the same page. It's not going to anyone or this and that, and you just put a condition here, small as that. As is method each post, well, good. Now go on. Go do all stuff for delete, for update, and for create. But for search, you just do it with the search term. So it's easy as that. To resume everything, you create user, and remember this is PHP only, no JavaScript, PHP only. So you come and let's create this one, and I say admin role and submit. As you can see, I create the user. So I'm going to view the user profile, and when I click, is it not found. So we're going to start building the user profile. Easy as that. Users, and inside user, I'm going to create new file, and I'm going to say ID, and which is going to have an index PHP. And in the index PHP, I'm going to catch everything what is coming from the nether side. Let's say user ID and send to the user ID. So this is going to be like say sub router. This is the main router, which is user, and the sub router is the ID, and which is going to be send it from the index which is in the users. Okay, so to address this, what you're going to do is going to get the ID coming from the nether side. So we're going to do let's say echo and ID and get ID. So when I save, how I already create my router ID, easy as that. I already have my user ID in and displaying in my users ID view. So as you can see, the folder name is the identifier and the index file is the loader. So when you're going to create a router, you're going to create a folder with the name which is going to display to the router, which is going to display to the location, to let's say my domain name / users. So the users going to be the identifier router, which is going to be domain name users. But what we're going to load is the index file. So if you have named your file with different name, different PHP, like say user.php, it's not going to work. It's going to load the index file. If the index file doesn't exist inside the users, it's going to throw for a not found error. So as you see, we get the ID. Now let's process to create the profile. Easy as that. So what I'm going to do is just pass and copy and paste to advanced. Okay, so save here. Add information, easy as that. I get the information, and to get all the information, what I'm doing is just performing a little search. Find unique. Say get the ID and find the user, and then I'm setting to the user profile variable and displaying everything. As you can see, I just get the get email, get name, and displaying. This is available for now, but what I could do is to go a little more further, because I'm already receiving as an object. So what I'm going to do is, I know there is a name because in my user model I have name, email. So I say profile name because I know user profile is an object of type user. So get email, instead just say email, and the effect is going to be the same. So here is a get name, going to be the name. Remember, this is a little bit different because this is included file, included model. The user role is included because remember, user role is a relation table. So the user role is have a relation with the user role. So that's why I can access the name and say admin. Let's save and no change. That's why I can access, just let me open. Okay, this is just for a reading format. Okay, here where ID, the ID coming from the get, then include user role. This is the way you get access to related models. Easy as that. You just say include, get the user role, but this user role comes from this user role. So you have to be exactly, because else this Prisma PHP going to complain here, say user role does not exist in user model. So you have to know, because remember this is the identifier which you establish here in user role and which is going to be connect to the other model. So that is the relation between. Okay, next what you're going to say, the include is true. This means if you say false, or not going to be include. If it's true, well, it's going to be include. And the type. By default, when find unique or any other search, like say find many, find unique, find first, returning is array. By default, its return is array. But if you want object, you explicitly say I'm one object, and this user profile is going to be by type user. So when I come, say find unique and click and go to the code base and go away to the class, type user. So easy as that, you can get the user profile in your CRUD application. So how much you need to invert in this as you wish is very mainly what you're going to do is, like I said, just you have to know PHP. All is that required PHP, and everything is going to be in class model. So for who that was connected, this class, it's in lib Prisma classes and user, and this class is built by a command. So what I'm going to do is to transport user, convert to PHP classes, and it's going to build everything it's needed. So that's why everything is needed to you come and get this type of simplification and get your CRUD application easy and getting started mainly. And is no so much code is needed. As you can see, this is commented, is a testing purpose. Let's remove everything, testing, and then let's see the code. Okay, so this is all what you need. First, what you're going to do is to identify your lib Prisma classes, because this is the mainly required when you're going to start working with your database or connecting to your database. Is required to you get the Prisma from the library, and then you get the Prisma. What you're going to do is start doing all but in PHP. And what you're going to do is to filter your database. Well, easy as that. You're going to get with get, use get, because it's mainly easy. So what I'm going to do is, like say, this is the this is going to be like resume of overview, which a new person is welcome. So here I'm going to refresh. So let's say I'm going to search the user, and afterward we're going to deploy or start deploy the application. Hi, welcome everywhere. Okay. Okay, so what we built long as was the video. So what I'm going to do is, like say, this button, remember this is only PHP. Let me show the code. Only PHP, and all what you need is only HTML, no JavaScript needed or anything. So what I'm going to do is come and then user, click, create new user as you want. Tyler and Tyler email, and then you select the role, and then you say submit, and you create your user. And then admin, let's say I'm going to see Tyler profile. I just click Tyler and send me Tyler, and then I want to edit because I have typed Tyler. Let's say Tyler 3, no problem. And here email going to be Tyler as well. And if I have another user role, well, I'm going to set it to another user role. So I'm going to submit, and as you can see, Tyler 3 and Tyler. And then let's say I'm going to delete any of this. So just click He said, are you sure you want to delete the name? And I said delete, and it's going to be delete. So the CRUD application is only in one section. You don't need to create another file to handle those rows, or no, it just, and remember we're using Git for security. So what I'm going to do is put in Git this tool. You must download and everything. So all what we need is just set up our post. And all sending going to be with the firm. Type post, easy as that. Type post, this is the edit modal, or let's say delete modal, edit modal, and new modal. Easy as that. And all this is the only HTML, as you can see. In PHP code, what is needed only this section. This is all PHP code what is needed, and handling the same page. Okay, so all was is connecting to the stream. So welcome, and I'm going to have a little overview of what we do to the time, so to not lose everything. First, we're going to the documentation. Getting started, everything what you need is inside here. So Node version, I'm working with 20x. I think I want to set it to 20. Okay, if you want to download the Node, you just click to the Node version and some Composer as well. The documentation resources, I highly recommend check Prisma PHP documentation, because this is the ORM which is going to be working. And Prisma PHP is the transpiler which is getting the Prisma schema and then translating all models inside Prisma schema to objects, to PHP objects. And then you just have the easy way to identify, like say if you're going to search a specific user, so you just come, if user ID let's say not empty, well, you're going to perform X functionality. It looks like I delete some sections here. No. Look like everything working good. Before I deploy to, okay, let's say that, yeah, working good. Everything working good. So then when you get set up your Prisma, then you just say Prisma user find unique, and then you say where ID, which ID we're going to search, and then you include related tables. All related tables you can include. Like say, if I have user role and then I have a product, let's say I want to include product, I can include product, and same as user role, and just say include me product, and then I get it. So what I'm going to do is try to create another row here to address. Okay, I'm gonna create a dashboard row, but before creating, what I'm going to do is dashboard is 404. Okay, so save. I already have dashboard PHP. As you can see, this is the way to get your router, easy as that. Okay, this is the command which create the project environment. Everything what we see in the product structure, all these files, it's created with this command. Afterward, Composer install, because all dependencies of PHP is in Composer. If you have decide to use WebSockets to create a chat app, I already have all those in documentation. If you want to use WebSocket, getting started, and you start reading about and create your chat app. And I already have some information. So chat app, and you can copy and paste it, but you have to decide to update your package. So all right, go on. The main importance to who just joined new, you have to get your PHP route path. Is very important in the project. Settings, project settings, PHP route path. As you can see, this is my route path for PHP. So you have to go to your one and then locate it here, and then it's going to start working, because remember how we were working with PHP. I'm working with Sam. Easy as that. So then npm run your project. That's all is needed. So for generate, let's say I'm going to generate a new okay, as you can see here, I just got user and user role model. So when I create a new model, I have this post model created. So when I create a new model, what I have to do is start building and include that new model in my classes, because let me show before deploy this project. Okay, so let's say Prisma, new Prisma, and let's say I want to create a post, but okay, as you can see, I don't have IntelliSense even, but if I say user, yes, I have IntelliSense, and then I could say find many, but I don't have for post. So what I have to do is start building this model, and that command is npx php generate class. So I just copied that, paste, and as you can see, here is a post, and it's automatically built for me. And then now I just have post, and then find many, and I already have access to post. That is the way easy as that you can get all posts from the database. And then you can have, like, say, your order by, and then you have take 5, include author if needed, if you have connected. So remember, when you have this post with user, remember you can get posts from user if you create a post with users. So as you creating a user, you can create your post in the same time. All right, let me just show that, and we're going to start with another one. So in the dashboard, okay, here's it. don't exist post table. That was the filter, the previous one. So okay, let's create okay, no author, but I know user, yes, because I set it as user. So save. Wait a minute. Okay, as you can see here, is the database don't exist. What happened? I create my model, but I haven't execute Prisma command to create my post in the tables. So easy as I just go to Prisma command and say npx Prisma migrate reset, which because I just create a new brand model. So I just copy, paste, reset, and say yes, goodbye. And now save. Okay, I'm gonna start migrating. I'm gonna create the migration. Delete this migration because I'm starting a new one, and then paste. Okay, when you start creating your project, you just create the migration. As you can see, it's showing me empty, and when I come to my database and refresh, I have post that table created and it's empty. So easy as that, you start creating your migration in local database. But so let's start talking about now the online environment, because we're going to work online nearly the time needed. So you could test everything what you need with MySQL in local, and afterward you could deploy your project to cPanel. Easy as that, because I was testing and this already fixed. So what I'm going to do is, first, your provider by default Prisma schema come with Postgres. You're going to set your database connection to the end file. Here is local end file with MySQL root and my super encrypted password, then local, and this is the database name. So this is the local database, and Prisma have this behavior you have to know, because when you work in locally, you are already having a shadow database created in your MySQL database locally. But when you're going to work with MySQL online in a cPanel, things change a little bit. So what we have to do, you have to create a shadow database for it. So for that, you have to go to MySQL setup, and here I try to explain everything as needed. So what I'm going to do, copy shadow database URL, and what I'm going to do is comment this or remove or whatever. Here, go to Prisma schema, and then shadow database URL, and you copy it, and then you have to set this section to your end file. So what I'm going to do is pass my database connection the test one what I'm trying to address with. So okay, so I'm gonna copy and paste. Well, don't use this connection because this is just for the testing purpose. So what I want to do, I say database. This is the original one. This is the one which is going to have all the tables for the database, and this is the shadow one. What happened here is when Prisma is migrating your database online, what is do is create all tables in this shadow database and then migrate to the original database. That is the behavior by default by Prisma ORM. So you have to be aware of. And then here is the which one to use. Here could be Postgres or MySQL, whatever. And here is your connection, which is going to be your user. And here is your password encrypted. And then here is your domain name. Your domain name. It goes here like I don't know. Anyway, this is your connection port, which is going to be by default, and this is my my database, my database, which is table or database name. Database name. You got me the idea. Okay, user and database name. The problem is I name it to both same. Okay, the shadow name is just same as original database, nothing different, same. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to try to connect to my online database using these credentials. So what I'm going to say, I'm going to come and delete migration. This is for testing purpose. So npm is npx Prisma migrate dev. So Prisma going to start to connect to my database but online to my cPanel. Here is trying to connect. As you can see, the difference is take a little while to connect, and I say yes, and no, I'm not going to enter any name. And here my database is created online. Okay, I'm just going to prepare everything for deploy online because that's the last section to cover. Getting started. Okay. I'm working with FileZilla to connect with my cPanel, so I'm going to use FileZilla to just create this test project. So you can use any kind of deployment required. Sometimes just use Git. It's convenient way, because as you make your change, you can making the deployment with Git Actions. It's very convenient. Or you could make a zip file and then deploy it to your cPanel and then extract to your route, which how you going to do it. Well, in my case, I'm going to use FileZilla and connect to my to my project, but mainly it's deleting all files what I was have testing in the FileZilla row. So as while go, I'm going to start presenting many kind of things in the documentation. Okay, first change log, guys. I'm gonna be putting all kind of change in the change log, what I have or what will be added, change it, fix it, because how this package is growing right now is on version 1.7.5. Maybe there is an issue which not resolved yet, because I'm trying to convert all required or all basic required and then advanced required for the package to be more easy to handle your database and so on. Okay, so all information is going to be in changelog. This section is just added. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Getting started was the first one which is added. Product structure is very important. Here you can give your navigation and check how it's structure your project. So here you can have, if you want to send email, you can use PHP mailer because it's a package, but here I just master the PHP mailer just for sending, so you can get more of it than just say mailer and I want to send and given this and that, and don't be like say this so much configuration goes and that, so you get in. Okay, it's clean now. So let me finish explaining this and then we deploy our project. App router, as you can see, I create dashboard router just for showing. Here I explain more detail about user and when you're going to filter to user ID and then just and that. So remember, it's PHP, nothing different. You just get the we get everything information by string and then you could populate or filter or does that. So the editor setup is very important that you have your editor setup. Prisma have its own editor when you're going to work with Prisma schema. So let's say I already make any kind of, like say, role ID. As you can see, you start complaining, and if you don't have the plugin of Prisma, well, it's no intelligence, no? That's the idea. So that's why I say, okay, it's important. Prisma extension for VS Code, you will have all those intelligence when you are editing your model for your database. Okay, MySQL setup, I already explained some. People who's going to start working with Postgres, because Postgres is the easiest one to include. You just have the database URL in all those. That's all. And you don't have a shadow database, or you don't have to create another database in your project. Just one database and Prisma handle it by itself, and that is the easiest one. So the Prisma command, I put all basic, I mainly required commands here. So here is the command, you can copy, but here is the small description what this command was. PHP command have two commands for now. This is the mainly which is generate classes, and this command which update your project. Let's say you have the version 7.1 and you want to get, well, this command is very magic. I can't say, because you just create in your project Prisma PHP JSON file and add what you want to add. Like say, if you don't have in your project this file Prisma PHP JSON, you just create it, or you just copy it Wait. Documentation fix needed. Paste, and then here say excluded file. You want to exclude all required files is needed. So here's the thing: if you don't want the update command modify Prisma schema because you already add bunch of models, well, you say don't update or don't touch Prisma schema, which is located, this is the root file and the Prisma folder, then the schema Prisma file. Don't touch it when you update it. So on, and as you can see, I put the end to it. That is just example, so that's it. You can do that as well too. Maybe you can say I already installed other package to my composer JSON. So the package update, it's not going to touch the JSON file composer JSON. That's the idea, because remember the update command is going to update just the default files from Prisma PHP environment. Metadata setup, this is a little bit magic when you want to send your project to Google Search Console. So you just say all those metadata what you need for your robots for Google. So you just set up in the meta file or your specific file. So this is the main which you're going to, when Google get in your project, what is going to start reading is the default project title and the description from your pages. So that's going to be the Google Search Console robots. It's going to be handled in that way. Okay, and if you want like dynamic page, those like WooCommerce, which is the ID or product specific name and so on, when you go to the dynamic and you set in a specific page, you know. Okay. Now, this is Prisma PHP classes usage, guys. This is I recommend using which is updated, because the review one is I created both how the first version for the environment was a little different, so I migrate, but I go in updating one by one and testing, and sometimes maybe it could work, anything, maybe. But the idea is use the most recent updated. So here you can see the create is updated, the upside is updated just now, and maybe more, maybe next time I'm going to aggregate, group, count, so on. So try to be focused on the updated classes, and because this is going to create, and this is going to be a more recent, and the package make it easy, very easy when you're going to filter any kind of API request. Maybe next video we're going to touch API and some stuff here. So here is the API filter. I just mainly have the for create. So you just go. I mainly use Postman. Sometimes I use Postman. And so you could use any kind of API request for make your API request, and for your API request just come up API and you got all what you need. This file handle all API requests, and remember, for security reason you will come and change this one. This is the default one for XML HTTP request. So this is the default one, but you could put any kind of encrypted, and then when I want to connect to your API, it's locked because it's not the default one, and I'm trying to connect with the default one or not with the encrypted by default, which is your providing. So I highly recommend, if you want a closed API which you're going to connect with mobile or other way to connect with like say from another application like desktop, like maybe C# trying to connect to PHP or to your cPanel, or like say Android trying to connect via maybe request by API to your database. Well, there's have to have the header set up but with the encrypted code to accept. So but if you have this default, well, anyone could be connected to your API. So if you want restricted API, change this, put your encrypted, and everything goes. Mainly API request is post, so everything is going to be post request. So no get. You can create your get if you want it. Then JS file. When you're going to start, I have one which let me see if I okay. Okay, let's see if this working. Users. Okay, let me add one next one. Guys, this is advanced, but I'm using JavaScript mixed with PHP. The advantage of using JavaScript and mixed with PHP is some dynamic searching like that, like Ajax request, and the API, which I already showed, it make it easy when you're going to make your Ajax request. So this is the advantage of when you're going to create your project. Let me show some of the code because it's mainly the same code, but let's say, all right, here, this is the running project. This is just the JavaScript what you need. This is all the JavaScript what you need, just that. And when you're going to send the request to your API, you're just going to send, say, like, query params, and you set your query params, you set the class, fine, and we're going to get the user role too, which is going to be include, and then check this. This fetch API request easy as that. Just say, okay, query this param, and where is located that is in this JS file. Just say play, and then when you come down here, this is already prepared. So when you're going to do Ajax request, it's very easy. You just set up how you want your environment, and then you just, let's say, type, and it's searched automatically. And the advantage of having JavaScript incorporated, you have this like say, not, you don't load the page. So when I click, check this, it don't load the page, and you're not even setting to the top location and get URL, all those stuff, because JavaScript, what it's doing is the advantage, you just set to the data user all data what is going to come from PHP from the database, and you just say JSON encode that user, and then you already have the information available when you're going to edit, when you're going to add new. And check this. In the other only PHP, I did have two dialog model. So in here I just have one, because I'm setting up with the post email, everything, and I'm just setting up with JavaScript, and easy as that, because you have your JavaScript in the CM file. You don't have to create, or if you want to create your JavaScript, you just create it and add a file and then import it. But I said, why to create a bunch of files? Create one and include it. So the next thing what I want to explain before I leave, and before I'm going to leave the project deploying as well, and so when I finish, okay, so first you have to locate to your layout. The layout file is where you're going to add your scripts, your styles, everything what you need. So if you have choose Tailwind CSS, automatically Tailwind CSS going to add these two files to start working with, because no, only this, the style CSS. Here you have CSS, and the style is like say minified style, so you don't have to be worried about Tailwind CSS, because the package is using post CSS. Before I was using the common one with the CLI, Tailwind CLI, but afterward I experiment, like say some style was like taking a little while to load and catching problems with the browser and stuff. So I migrate all CLI now to post CSS. So that is the new way to do in Tailwind. So the way with post CSS, it's make it easy, and you don't have to worry. You just have to come and copy paste your Tailwind and start working on that. But if you want to work with CSS normal, you just create your CSS normally. I have my index CSS, which I have to the body this inter sans serif. So what I'm going to do in the layout, you want to integrate every resources or external resources which you're going to work with. So let's say I have my own JavaScript to integrate. You create your own JavaScript and import it here once, everything. Or let's say you want to include to the footer. So here is the commented way. You just include to the footer. As you include, after the content, everything going to be to the footer. So the content load first, and then JavaScript going to load. Normally that is the way, because remember, some heavy JavaScript have to be loaded after, or sometimes sometimes just put to the header is not especially. But how this JavaScript is not heavy, and this is locally located, is not getting everything from external, so is not too much problem with it. Okay, guys, what next? Okay, fetch API, I explained it just now. State manager. This state manager is kind of magic, because let me explain in the same document page, because you're going to be aware of this package. I get inspired by React and some about Next.js project, because when Next.js come and publish about server action, I say, oh, that is PHP part, because I remember PHP from all the time is work on the server, so I said, well, that is PHP. Oh, okay, when I get to know, but the part of the PHP is the handle to the front end, not in the back end, because I see PHP handle the back end very oof. I can't say any. Okay, but the front end, when you click a button, the problem with PHP is load the page. So after the loading, you have to handle all those resources, all those stuff then. So what I do with the state manager is, when you click a button, the state manager saves to the local storage a key, and let's say when I click here, it's open, but it's not loading the page. And how that you have to do with the state manager. So when you start reading the documentation, here is how you handle the state manager, and you get the instance of the state manager, because this state manager, I'm gonna open the inspect and let me show start local. Okay, here is the thing. App state, it said open detail Prisma JS usage. So as when I click any of this start updating. So when Prisma load the page, JavaScript locate the ID to the local storage and load everything what it needed. Easy as that. When I click, as you can see, start updating by itself. So what it do, PHP load by itself, but JavaScript handle the front end in this part. But this is like, say, the reactive way to handle. So you don't load in the page. As you can see, you don't load in the page, and this is a button click. As you can see, this is a button click when I go to the summary, details, and LI. It's a button click. So when you click, and here is open, as you can see, you click, and remember, when it's click, this type of management is loading in PHP. So what I do is that way, and I say I don't want to be loading all the page. I just want to handle just the button click. So any kind of information, and if you want to handle the loading stuff, you just get to the state manager and read the documentation, and let me give you where it's located. You just come to your JS documentation, index, have some space, and fetch API, copy. Okay, state manager class. This handle all the local storage, saving the ID key, and then he's load by himself. So guys, well, the Prisma variable, remember when you're going to load like sources, like images, all those stuff, use the base URL, because that base URL is going to locate you right to app, and from the app you got API, you got assets, all what you need. So from the app you can locate, let's say I have my image in the assets file, and so let's go to the index, and here you see I said base URL, and then get into the asset folder. There is an image folder, and inside the image there is a file named Prisma PHP PNG. That is the way, and easy as that, you get your file located. So when I go to the So when I go to the dashboard, you can get the icons or any kind of resource or document if you want to have using those type of name. So absolute path, use this type of path when you're going to have, like, say, handle requires or includes. Remember, requires and includes use absolute path mainly, so use this type of so here you got the settings path, direct to the settings path, and then you search for specific configuration or all those stuff. The document path I use many for loading stuff from, and like say loading settings from the document path and all those stuff, because the document path is the root of your path. What next? WebSockets. Okay, guys, WebSocket is very incredible. You could create your chat app easy with WebSocket. I already explained. You could I'll decode here. But you remember when you setting up or creating your project, you have to accept WebSockets. Prisma PHP and PHP email usage. Well, email. When you're going to create email, easy as this. Use PHP mailer, and then check this. You just send that email and you just put your configuration to the end file here. You just set up and go on. That's all. That's all what you need. So now, guys, okay. This is the deploy section. Notice to the router. Well, this is a little complicated. This is the still ninja code.tech also. So I already set up my database with my cPanel, which already you have been seeing getting started here. This is my domain, and notice my domain here, CMS. So that means to say I already have tried to connect okay, I don't have roles created. So what I'm going to do, create a role and start working on it. Okay, let me undo this. Here I'm in a local name. So from here, I'm going to create a role to online. So let's see, getting started. This server is running. Okay, good. So I'm going to locate my to user to dashboard. Okay, no more this. Okay, from local, I'm going to create user role. So I'm going to say Prisma user role. Okay, URL is already created. Let's see. Refresh. Yes. Okay, that is the advantage of this kind of environment like Prisma PHP does. Use the same connection to your cPanel, and I'm working locally, and online I'm updated or test or things like that from local. As you can see, I already update all files with FileZilla over here just for you to see, because it's technically long. So what I'm going to upload to your cPanel. But I upload even extra because some of the part is not required, but I'm going to explain you why it's good to have to your cPanel, because sometimes maybe let's say your project get lost and the problem is going to be you have a backup to your cPanel. So this is the all file I upload. Prisma is not required. Public is you desire to share something with public, well, there is the idea. Settings not required, but no settings here, because remember settings is the part of the main project, so settings have to go. SRC, yes, required. Vendor is required. So to upload your vendor, remember you have to optimize your vendor, optimize that vendor code. So optimize your vendor, just get I think I have saved the optimize vendor, optimize composer. Okay, here is the command how you optimize autoloader. Composer install Node.f, optimize autoloader. So remember, when you're going to deploy to cPanel, you can deploy not build it with composer install Node.f, but it's going to be like say a little heavier. But when you build an optimized autoload, it's going to be like optimized features, all those identifications. So be aware of, if you want to like say I'm lazy, I'm going to just upload it, no problem. But remember, it's going to be a little heavier. But if you optimize autoloader, is very handy when you load in your files in your different SRC. So vendor, optimize, and then upload. But for this, I just upload it, no problem. But I want you to know that env, for security reason, the env is not accessible from outside, because I already set up the NHT access. So that is going to be aware of that, not going to be accessed, because there is the database credentials. Everything what you need is database credentials there in the env file. HT access. So the TS config is for Prisma ORM, is not needed, but we're there. Tailwind, no, but yes. No, it's not needed. Prisma PHP JSON, yes, because this is the part of the setting of the Prisma PHP environment. So you have to upload. Post CSS, no. Package.json, no. Package load, no. Composer, I upload it because it's needed. Bootstrap, don't miss it. That is required, highly required. Alright, that is all what you need to upload to your cPanel. And when you upload to your cPanel, then you're in your domain, you already have like say Mario. And as you see, when you upload your project to your cPanel, the database interaction is very optimized, fast, because it's in the same server and the interaction between the database is not so far. But when you working locally and you set your environment in your local file, remember there is a delay between your sending request and receiving response from your servers for cPanel. So be aware of, because when you're working in locally, when I add a user, you see the loading and then add the user, because sending from my local and to my cPanel. I don't know where is allocated. Imagine, I don't know, maybe United. All right, so sending and then I receiving the response. That's why it's having that delay. So be aware. But when I deploy the project to, fast enough. Yes, because the database or the request to the database is very fast. As you can see, this is like just so fast. Because that is the advantage when you're working with PHP. The server interaction between your database is very, very fast. And remember, PHP version 8.3 is releasing and have new features, and maybe we could integrate very, very kind of such more control in the objects we are building for interact with the database. So here, as you see, let's say Mario, save of super fast as that. Let's add another one. Okay, so let's say I'm going to search now. Let's say Mario. Yes, it's very fast. It's optimized because it's on the server. So let's delete one, Rodrigo. Let's say yes, I'm deleting Rodrigo. Okay, it's very fast. I never noticed this because this is, even for me, this is my first CRUD project. So I'm going to leave the project to GitHub. You could download it, experiment with it, upload to your cPanel, make tests as you wish. So this is my first CRUD, and I imagine maybe it's your first CRUD too, because the deployment was not being released until the version, yes, this version, 1.7.5. So now you could deploy your project and make tests from local, or even if you're going to make tests in the server too. So be aware of when you're working locally, it's going to be a little slow because of delay for the sending requests and receiving requests, all of that. So guys, this is spoiler. I'm working in the authentication section. The authentication section is very, it's going to be very, I think it's going to be easy implementation, but complicated for who developing the integration. Because what I'm trying to do is most as the configuration to interact with the JSON web tokens, and then that token is going to update as you don't have to have control the updating business, all those stuff, because imagine you have to send update this token. No, it's going to be a little intelligent of updating situation of that. So maybe this in the ongoing few version updated, I'm going to be adding some stuff. So that is the spoiler of the video. So let me ask you about your thoughts and how the package look, because this package is the first presentation in English language, because mainly I make my videos in Spanish. I'm trying to speak in English. I have learned to not speak English because I don't have any. So mainly I speak it in Spanish. So let's start a little before I leave. Tell me about your thoughts. How the package look and what we could improve. What the having all those stuff. Let me send me to via chat and we could interact some before I leave. Bionoy FF, Bionoy OFF, welcome, and welcome to you all too in this case. So well, if there is a question, well, maybe I could try to respond. Let's see. Someone? Okay guys, well, looks like maybe it's mainly clear or not, but anyways, this the Prisma PHP that tsnc that tech it's going to be the main documentation which is going to be updating all new features which it's coming to the create Prisma PHP package. So well, before I leave, well, have a very weekend, happy coding, and see you in next future video. So well, anything? I think I leave my yes, you could go to Facebook and connect with me to with the Steel Ninja code. I think I have sharing all those, so maybe yeah. Anyway, yeah. Okay.